All right, since this thing is way too heavy for my tractor, we got to pick it up with the hoist. I made this quick little bracket, just welded the two on there. So that's good in there. It's just rotating in here. We'll pick it up in two spots in the front, one spot in the back. We can lift it up and then roll the chassis underneath. But before we roll underneath, we got to flip that oil pan around. So here we go. This will do more than we ever need it to do. Okay, so this is all stuff that we don't need. Don't harp on me for pulling apart an old Ford. It is a great engine. It's just not gonna make me happy. It's not near as much as a Caterpillar. I don't want the engine to sit any lower, but we'll see where it is up against the cab. Tighten one bolt on the far side. One link tighter. Now I went on a U because I'm afraid that I won't have enough height to get the frame underneath. That looks good. Wonderful. Happy with that. Now if we want to adjust it, just tilt the angle slightly. I'll just stick a bolt in here and we'll squeeze that together, but that's fairly level. This is super important because we're taking this plate off the front, all this weight, taking that off, and we're gonna move it way to the back, right there. So the weight was here, much better, farther back right there. Alright, now we gotta see if that oil pan is ambidextrous.
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
It can go on both ways. I don't know if that's the correct term or not. Need a new gasket. The longer pickup tube is on its way. I hope it fits because otherwise I painted a pan for nothing. I think it does. I think it does go. First bolt fits. I put some of the bolts in to remind me that we got to put up a better dipstick tube and grab a gasket for it. Now, I'm kind of glad we didn't fire it up because then I would have had this all full of oil, and I don't like draining oil out of an engine and then using it again, because you always get something in it. Prep the frame and then roll the frame under. Because that's as high as it goes, about waist height. And if I don't take the bumper off, it won't fit. So I think we're actually gonna use the 2010 bumper. I think it's 2010, I don't know, wait. It's got a nice slot in the front there. We might put a winch there. I don't know, Aaron bought a winch, but it's a lot of weight. I do like that look. We're changing it enough anyway. This is the gas bumper. I guess the diesel bumpers have a hole in there for a little bit more airflow. And we don't want people to get confused when we pull up and like, your gas engine sounds terrible. I got it all the time with the Silverado and the Tahoe. They're like, it sounds like ass. That 5.3 does not sound good. So we'll pull that off. We're gonna pull the fuel tanks off because we're gonna be cutting and welding and sparking and stuff. This one leaks, so we'll replace that one. And that one's fine. We'll put a inline pump in there and we'll just pump the fuel from this one into that one as we see fit. As big as the truck is, this fuel tank's pretty small, so we'll probably put, I don't know if we'll put one in the toolbox. We'll see. Well, isn't that disappointing? The roofing screws didn't hold, and neither did the JB weld. Ah, terrible, terrible, terrible. We'll get Vince to weld it. He said he would weld anything, so don't weld gas tanks. You can if you fill them with water, but don't weld gas tanks. ratchet. That's annoying. It's not that complicated. Oh, you guys can't even make fun of me because they're the True Princess Auto impact sockets. Saying, if you want to use an impact, it would have done it. There it goes. This bolt's probably welded to this bracket. Or like a pressed fit. That's pretty impressive. I broke that. Over that way. Yeah, we might need a filter relocate. Let's cut a big hole and then remove the axle every time we do an oil change. That's too bad. This filter looks like it's gonna be okay. The compressor looks like it's gonna be okay. All right, so we're ready to put the kitty cat where it's supposed to go. That's some supervision from Minnie Mar here. Girls renamed her Minnie Mar just because she looks exactly like her mom and acts like her. So, got some ticks, so we had to get her a collar. Anyway, cat is gonna go in its proper place. Now, I think I wanna drop it down about 2 inches. So this oil pan is about 4.5. All right, kitty? About 4.5. You want to double check that for me right here? Yeah. And I think I want to drop it 2 inches. But we also need to figure out, we're very tight for space going back and forth. So what I'm going to do, because I need to have the frame support the engine, is pull the oil pan and I'm going to weld this just right here on the bottom here. And the oil pan or the engine sides can sit on either side of this block. Then I can slide the engine forward and backward easily while I get it as close to my rad support as possible. Then I'll move the transmission mount to underneath the transmission where it's somewhat close. Bolt that in place. I have to move that forward or back one way or another. And then we can drop the cab back on it again. Once the cab is back on it again, I can see if I can go up with the engine. All right, so I measured. And I think I need to drop my engine down this far to have it sit properly without putting a lift on the cab. What that means is I gotta drop the cradle down 2 inches to make up for the distance on the oil pan. Now, the distance between the axle and the cradle is a lot more than the distance between my spring and my rubber stop. So the axle will never hit the bottom of the cradle. It got like 4 inches to spare. So I can drop it 2 inches without any issues, I think. More than likely we're gonna end up putting some airbags in here to make up for the extra weight. If I can go higher, I can shim this plate very easily and just lift up on the engine a little bit. If I have to go any lower, I don't think I can, and we will have to put a lift on the cab. So we'll tack this in place the engine, and see where we're at. Here we go. Okay, as it sits right there, that's not bad. Lots of room for the turbo. Definitely have to shorten up that oil filter, but we'll more than likely get a filter relocate. Kid, you're kind of annoying when all you do is rub my feet. I don't want the engine to sit any lower. We got just enough clearance here. I turned this fitting for the oil, but I can turn that right back down again on a 90 or even a little bit forward and come right through the front. That's fine. That's enough clearance here between the steering box. The compressor misses the steering box perfectly. I got room for my hoses at the back. The starter does not hit that frame. I didn't cut the frame. My oil pan comes down 4.5 inches, and I don't think that the steering is gonna hit here. I might have to spin these around so that the big part is pointing down, but that's very small in comparison. Might have to lower a hair here just to clear this brace on the frame, but as of right now, if my U-joints might hit, but I can lower it on the jack just a hair, but we'll see where it is up against the cab. You guys mentioned this fitting at the back. This is actually my fuel pressure regulator. So the fitting in the back here has a ball and a spring in it, so that is very important. So I can't replace it with a banjo fitting, but this port, as you can see, comes out the side here, and that's just beautiful. I can get rid of this, which is just a mount for something, point that down, and then run my fuel line nicely right straight down and out here. I didn't even see it, like you could see that it's obviously on the same one. So move the plug over, put that fitting down. Thank you very much, guys, because we would have wasted a lot of time making a fitting go in the back. So that means we're that much farther up against the firewall. That's exciting. Cover just at the top, and you can see where the there's a weld there. The back cab mounts are on, but the front ones have 4 inches to go, 3 inches to go before they hit. So I do want it to sit in there, but that's almost about the height for there. Pretty tight. So, we only got 3 inches. And we got 2 1/4 to go here. That would give us 3/4 inch. So that's right here. But the back cab mounts are always hitting, are already hitting, right? So the higher point, well, we're gonna make this a 90 coming out and going here. And this is the highest point here. So essentially you want your radiator as high, if like higher than this point here. Otherwise you'll always have a little air gap there. Lots of room for exhaust, nowhere near that AC system. This is where the old transfer case would have ended up height-wise. It was about 1 inch off of there. Lots of room underneath the transmission, so that's not bad. Sitting on the back of the... Yeah, I know, when we got a 1/2 inch to go. It's not bad.
Yeah. Bash that end a bit.
Yeah, the rad's a touch lower than the front though. I'm not crazy about that. The engine needs to come ahead a bit. Or the frame needs to come ahead a bit. Yeah, that's crooked for sure. Jose, you might want to not...
Just close your eyes.
Jose, you might want to look away for this. It's a little bit crooked. I'm gonna fix it. workout. These are nice gloves. A little bit of protection there for when you want to hit hard stuff. That's it. That's her. Nice. Oh, look at that. Got like a 1/16 of an inch there. I measured that pretty close. That's the rod cap post. Yeah, we got lots of room. That is a F350 with a Caterpillar in it. Nice. That was a pretty good estimation. The count, it's worth definitely measuring where it sits first. And that was with it on the stand with just a cab on it. Where to put that engine, it's 2,000 pounds. You got to slide on the frame back and forth, but pretty well that's exactly where it's got to sit, so I'm happy with that. That's it. That's a Caterpillar and F350. That's awesome. There's lots of modifications to do yet before I'm gonna have to pull the cab on and off a couple more times. But a couple things from the last video, I said that the 7.3s never had an intercooler. I meant this body style didn't have an intercooler, and even if it did, we wouldn't be able to find one in good shape. So I'd much rather modify this one, and if we're gonna modify it anyway, might as well make it for a bigger radiator, so that 6.0 was, the 6.0 was nice and big. The intercooler fits nicely, and it fit between the rails nice. So we'll probably cut this mount here and just drop it down, just so that it holds the intercooler nicely. I think we're gonna go with the 2010 bumper, because I like the look of that. And then we'll mount the power steering cooler, the intercooler, and the condenser basically in the grill. She's gonna be tight. Lots of little finicky things to go up and down. I don't know if you guys want to see me do that 100 times. That is the stuff that we do behind the scenes, which is why these videos take a little bit longer, but we're getting much closer, and I'm actually really happy. I'm gonna sleep good tonight. So thanks for watching. Again, appreciate all your comments, especially with things like the fittings and the fuel line on the side of the head. Things like that actually make a big deal, and it's nice to share your comments and your experience down below. So thanks for all your help, guys, yeah, get out there and work on it, because if you're not filthy, you're not rich. Here we go.